Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Daniel and I'm the HighMileageHelper. On this channel, my goal is to be able to help you learn more about the RV transporting industry, as well as give how-to videos for your truck and then give recommendations along the way. So if this is our first time meeting, just consider subscribing, hitting the like button if you get good value. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about whether you actually get paid for every mile that you drive. And we're going to go ahead and get right into the video. So first off, we are technically being paid to take the camper from the manufacturer to the dealership. Those zip codes that they are in is actually what determines the miles. So you can actually have a trip. Let's say if you're going on an east load, and your company is directly east. Just to make this more simplified, your company's yard where you pick it up at is actually east of the manufacturer. So what that means is you are being paid for the miles from the manufacturer to the yard, and then all the way east, or I guess east, to the dealership that you didn't actually drive those miles from in between the manufacturer and your yard. So in that case, because it's going zip code to zip code, you are actually being paid more than the miles that you're actually driving. And so in that case, that's great. And I think I've talked about this a little bit in a few other videos, but I just really wanted to unpack this. So let's say you're going west, and again, your lot that you're picking it up is east of the manufacturer. Well, in that case, you're going to have to drive miles that you're technically not getting paid for, because you're having to drive the distance between, for simplified purposes, directly east all the way to the manufacturer or past it, whatever you want to say, and then it actually start getting paid for those miles. So the truth is, you can be technically paid more miles or less miles, depending on the direction of where you're going and the location of that manufacturer, where they are located at. So the next part of this equation, it's zip code to zip code from manufacturer to the dealership zip code. And what they do from there is they actually find the best route to go there. Now, that doesn't always mean it's the most logical route. And I'll say that again. It does not mean that it's a route that a normal human being with a working brain would actually want to drive. Instead, they find the route that is supposedly the route that is the most reasonable amount of miles, not going out of your way for convenience, not going, they find the route that is kind of in the middle, or probably saves them money. And so what happens is that they will find that route, and they will say, well, it costs us this much money because it's this many miles at this rate, and then they pass that on to the transporter company, and then the transport company says it is a load that is this many miles at this rate. And then you show up, you pick it up, and you think, the GPS says that it's, let's just say 75 miles further, and or a longer of a trip. And you're thinking, what's going on? I'm not being paid those 75 miles. What gives, I got questions. And so you decide to call and say, hey, first of all, you need to be respectful. You need to ask questions, not start accusing people. Just number one right off the bat. If you want to go anywhere with the conversation, ask polite questions. Do not attack. Don't go after anybody. The person who's going to pick up the phone and try to help you with the situation, they are not in charge of the whole situation. So I just wanted to say that right out of the gate there. But what happens is, there's a discrepancy of miles. And so you're thinking, my GPS says this, but none of the routes are even close to this. Well, what has happened is, if it's significantly less, it means that the manufacturer, they found a route which no human being might actually want to drive, but they found a route that says it's only this many miles. So technically, they're right. You only have to drive those many miles. But what they don't take into consideration, I would say largely, is the convenience or the time it's going to take. And I say all this to say, and I made this video because I ran into this situation, and I wanted to share this with you because I want you to be able to think through these things before you even pick the load and you say, yes, I want it, give it to me, please. The situation that I had was, it's a Tennessee load, and it says 525 on the miles. And the GPS, the closest GPS from where I'm at to the dealership, where I was at in lot 4, to the dealership, said 598. That was the shortest distance. Now, I already know that it's not actually from lot 4 to their address. I understand that. It's from zip code to zip code. I get it. But almost 75 miles of a difference seems a little high, for it to be a zip code to zip code. So what I did was I called and I said, hey, there seems to be quite a few miles unaccounted for on this, and so I just wanted to see and make sure that this is right, that this wasn't just a silly mistake. Just wanted to get some clarification on this so I know what's really going on. And so they checked it out, and they pulled up the manufacturer route that they say it takes this many miles, and I believe it was 521 or 524 maybe, yeah, 524.8, and I can even share that with you hopefully in the video here. Whatever it was, 521, 524.8, whatever it was, that's how many miles it says that it takes to get there. But the reality is, if you go that route, it's almost an additional 2 hours. An additional 2 hours to get to that dealership. We are constrained by time, and we don't get to change things around just because we don't get to change our logbook. We don't get to change things that we feel that is unfair. We have to follow what we have to follow. And so I saw that, and I finally was able to get that route pulled up on the GPS. And it was an additional 2 hours, a little over 2 hours more. And I was just kind of stumped at that. I asked who I was talking to on the phone with about that, and he said, well, we've had this account for years, and that's how it's always been. And that was the explanation. And the truth is, he can't go and change and do these things to be able to manipulate it because they're only getting paid what they got paid from the manufacturer. So there'd be no sense for me to argue and yell and whatever. Case is closed, and apparently it's been closed for a long time, which kind of frustrates me. But doing things just because we've always done them is not a good reason. That's not really an answer. respectfully, it's not. So it's true, you're getting paid this many miles at this price. But the truth is, do you actually get paid for every single mile? It's on a case-by-case basis. Every single load can be different. It can vary in the plus or in the minus. Positive or negative. You could be making more money for how many miles you've actually driven, or you could be making less money. And it's a very small actual gap. And I'm assuming at some point it varies quite regularly. And I know that with all the loads I've taken all over the place over the last 4 years, I'm sure it's probably evened out. I've gone where I've made much more money, 20, 25 miles above, or I've made 20, 25 miles, below, and it's probably evened out. That's probably the case. I have no doubt about that. I've gone all over the place several times. I'm not really concerned about that, but what I want you to be able to do, whether it's at any other company, I don't know if other companies operate this way or not, or tell you up front or whatever, but so before you pick a load on the load board and you think you're going to be paid for every single mile that it says that you're actually going to be traveling, do your own research. Ask, hey, could I have the manufacturer's instructions for what route to take? And then at the very bottom, it will say it'll take this many hours, it'll take this many miles. And then compare the time and the mileage with what your GPS says and what you're actually going to be getting paid. And so that's how to truly find out, are you going to be paid for every single mile that you actually drive? I believe this is a very isolated incident. Almost every single time it's within a small, we're talking less than 10 miles, probably 5 or even less than that, plus or minus. It's generally very close. But the truth is, it can differ. And when it does, you as the driver need to be well aware of that before you accept the load and then get caught off guard. The reason why I was caught off guard, and I've been at this for 4 years, I don't know everything, but I'm used to how things are across the board. And so when I saw this, the reason why I was so caught off guard is because it almost never happens where it's such a wide difference in miles because of the route that they say you're supposed to take. And it's really a lot different than what it actually is to drive there on a normal route. So the route that they had me going to this dealership it was avoiding most highways. It was more of a completely direct route. There was no main highways. There's no, get on the highway for, 400, 500 miles, and then you get off, take your exit, and then it's right there. Many, many times that's the case. But in this situation, man, it just wasn't. And that happens. You have to take a more direct route. And that's what happened to me in this case. And I was caught off guard. So if you are caught off guard, if you've only been driving for 6 months, a year, whatever it's been, and this happens to you, don't worry. It can still happen to people, further down the road with that. This is just a small thing to think about when you are picking your load. You're seeing how many miles it is. Always remember to ask for the route that the manufacturer says it is, which then gives you the mileage that they're saying and the route that they're saying to go. So hopefully this was a help to you. At my expense this time, I was just kind of caught off guard by this, but that's the truth. I could have found out beforehand, before accepting the load, and I could have said, nope, not worth it. I don't want to go that direct route and be off the highway and be on these like state roads and county roads, basically going through every little town possible, taking 2 hours more. I could have done that. I did not. So before you accept any load, just get in the habit. You're probably going to be proved right almost every single time that it's just within a few miles, plus or minus, depending on the direction and the manufacturer location. But it is possible that they have you on a more direct route that does not include main highways. And so that can cost you at the end of the day that you are going to be ending up on the short side of that situation where you are having to drive miles that you didn't actually get paid for. Technically, if you keep on the main road. Maybe you are okay with going that direct path and it taking longer, but then you have to consider it's taking longer, which means you're being paid less for your time. So is it really worth it? Is it worth it to take the direct approach, take longer, lose your time, or go the quicker route and save time but pay more essentially for your fuel? So that's the question you need to ask yourself. What I ended up doing was I took the direct route and it took longer. It was a miserable drive. I'm not going to lie or sugarcoat it. Going through all these little towns and country roads and all these things with a trailer, you're just about asking for trouble, for some type of crazy driver damage when you're not on the main highway. And so to me, it's just not going to be worth it in the future. This is the first time it's really come up when it's been this way, not just zip code to zip code and things slightly off. With this direct approach, this is the longest, 75 miles ish that it was off by. And so for me, it is just worth it just to go the main highway and keep everything safe, and just understand I need to be thinking about these things in the future. So anyways, hopefully this was a help to you, just to help you think through these things and get you in this mentality, this habit of asking, hey, can I have the directions, just to see what route I'm supposed to take for this mileage, and then do the comparison. So anyways, if you have any questions, let me know. If this was a help to you, please consider subscribing. If you got help today, hit the like button if you got your value, and hopefully this can help you when you are on the road as an RV transporter. So I hope you have a great day today, and we'll catch you next time. God bless. See you guys.